Previously on the Misfits Podcast, our hosts were unfortunately wiped off the face of the earth by the minute bomb strapped underneath their table after utterly failing to stop within 23 minutes. Thanks to several shenanigans across space and time, our heroes were restored to the very moments before when they were obliterated, and thus the legend lives on.
Yeah, my sister actually lives in Cromwell at the moment, and uh, she says that the was it rice paper rolls that they made there, right? The lady who was making it was like apologizing to her, like, sorry, we have to make them. Well, no, because she was Asian as well. She's like Vietnamese, right?
Right.
And making these rice paper rolls. She's like, sorry, I had to make them like this because we have to cater towards the Anglo palate, you know? Because to make it, yeah. But anyway.
Oh no.
I guess having to cater for so many different people makes their food a little
Right.
more like homogenized. But I guess that's one of the things that maybe I don't miss as much. But I do miss the regularity and always having like a meal to come back to. Like, oh yeah, I can just go there. And also having a regular mealtime means that you get to meet people all the time when you're eating. Which is great. We're pretty good. Like I feel like in my share house, because I moved up with some college guys who I met in college. Like we don't really have that same like, oh, we're all here at the same time sort of thing anymore every day. Because a lot of us
Right.
eat at different times, so sometimes we like miss each other, and then sometimes it feels like you haven't seen someone in like days, so like you live in the same house, right? Because a lot of the time people are like a bit tired because they're like back from uni, so they just like close
Right.
the door, like, oh yeah, do their thing in their own room, which was kind of like normal when you were in college, because you're in different rooms after all, you're in like the same hallway maybe, but when you're in a share house, it kind of feels a bit like, I didn't see anyone else today. It's crazy. Yeah, but getting your own groceries is kind of a pain, I have to admit. Like, it's
How
actually
frequently do you go out to get groceries?
I try to limit it to once a week.
Once
So,
a week.
Actually, today, this Sunday, I spent this morning getting groceries. That's why I haven't done any work for this half of the day. Like, literally get up, do laundry as well. Do laundry. Because I don't have a dryer. I have to hang it out. Right? So then you do laundry. It takes like an hour to wash for some reason. I mean,
you don't have to wash it yourself, right? You have a laundry machine. Right?
Yeah, obviously I have a laundry machine.
Yeah.
But then I have to like hang it out, and then I have to like, oh, okay, I need to think about what I need to buy. Like, what do I actually have in the fridge? You have to think about that. Like, what do I have left? Oh, I didn't use that bok choy that one time, and I still have some celery left from when I made pasta, so I don't need to get that. So then it's just a big time sink, and sometimes you
sound
forget.
like an adult.
Wait, I mean,
Yeah.
this is the adult life. It's like
Is
Yeah, I
this
think-
the adult life?
I think
I'm
I'm
21.
trying to
I don't think
realize-
about half this stuff.
I'm starting to realize what being an adult maybe is about. I think it's like
Trying to
having a lot
survive.
of more responsibilities that you only have a limited amount of time to do. you
Yeah.
know? And it's like, oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I have to do this. And it's like you have to be like above your own like desires. Like, oh shoot, I gotta do this. Yeah. It's only gonna get worse
No one else
from here, guys. Ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then you start doing stuff to like make yourself look forward to like going to shop. Like, oh, maybe I'll buy. Oh no, the good thing is you get to buy your own stuff, right? And it's like an excuse, like, oh, this thing's on sale. It's only like $2, and it's like an
Right.
Asian snack or something. Yeah, I'll just throw it in. It's all good.
That's good.
Oh, and seeing the amount of money you spend at the end of a grocery trip is always the worst. It's like, bro, I spent like $100 today. Ugh.
For a week's worth of groceries?
Yeah. Which I guess is like okay, but still,
that is okay.
it's like inflation, guys. You start talking about inflation when you go grocery shopping, and you start like trying to manage, or like, and you feel bad when you buy something and it's actually cheaper at another place.
Right,
Like,
right.
oh, I bought it. It's like, oh, why did I see that? Oh, I feel so bad. Oh.
But at least you know for next time, right?
But I feel like, I've mostly been talking about food, but what else can I talk about?
I mean, hey,
Well, I
food's
think
a
that-
big expense aside from rent. So.
Yeah, it's like
True.
cooking as well. Cooking takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, cooking takes up so much time.
Washing dishes. How long do you take washing dishes every day?
Oh well, I mean it's not too bad, but
If you only have like 3 dishes and stuff, right? It's like
yeah, I
Right.
only have like 3 dishes
curry,
normally
and pot.
whenever I have a meal. Maybe like one for rice, one for like my meat, one for like veg,
Mm.
you know, normally.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So you just like, oh, you need to wash the pan as well. And-
Mm.
It sucks cleaning up the kitchen every time after. Like, you know, as in you finish and then you're like, all right, I'm done. And like, no, I need to wipe the kitchen down. Shoot. As in, I can't leave like splatter of the, you know, on the side of the wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
When sometimes it like pops up the oil and stuff. Oh. Yeah. Cleaning too. Cleaning sucks. I hate cleaning. Actually,
God damn.
so you gotta vacuum the house and it's like, oh wait. I gotta, cause you're like, oh, I should mop the house, but then you need to vacuum the house before you mop. Like, I gotta mop.
How do you decide who does the mopping or the vacuuming when you have when you're sharing a place with three other people? I think. You said?
Yeah, that's true. That's another thing. I made a spreadsheet for it, but we haven't really been sticking to it. So it's
So
just
who
like,
is it? Just you does it?
well, no, it's not just me, but it's like it's mostly like whenever people are like, it's been a while since we last vacuumed. Maybe
Ah, okay,
someone
fair,
should do it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
It smells a little sus. We should probably clean it up.
it's like a little dusty, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. So it's basically like that. But yeah, maybe I should raise that with the other
Nah,
residents.
no. I'm just asking out of
No.
curiosity.
As in, I think it's good to have like a routine.
Mm.
And it's also a bit harder for me to get to uni now because although I do bike, which is good, I'm getting like some sort of. I do enjoy biking a lot too. Even though it's sometimes a bit annoying. So yeah, it's just like more freedom of choice. You can just do what you want and like buy what you want, and you're not forced to like move out at the end of every year, which is like
Right.
pretty good. And also, you don't get like shifted around always as well, because you get moved
Yeah.
to different floors when you're in college, right? After you stay in that one. But yeah, I think that's basically what I like and don't like.
How long has it been so far?
Oh, it's been half a year.
Okay, half a year. How long has the podcast been so far?
Oh, that's true. I think it's roughly been around 20 minutes.
I think it's been
Okay.
around 20 minutes.
Do we have anything else to talk about?
Yeah.
We did have one other topic to talk about. Do we have enough time to add it in?
I think we can maybe talk about it for a bit, yeah.
Okay, sure. 40
Did we
minutes
want to talk
podcast?
about undergrad versus postgrad, or
Yeah,
what
yeah.
other topics? Yeah.
Yeah, undergrad versus postgrad. Like, there's been a transition with all of us graduating at the end of last year, right? From undergrad to postgrad. Well, Brendan and I doing a Bachelor of Biomedical Science and into medicine. Same with you, Manus, right?
Yeah, Bachelor of Biomedicine at UniMel.
Yeah, at UniMel. So, what do you think are some of the biggest differences between doing undergrad and postgrad? Like, for me, I think that I have to be a lot more diligent with my time compared to undergrad. Like, I am not in a share house like you, Brendan, but that still means I can't be wasting my time, or at least spending my time inefficiently. I wouldn't call it a waste, I'd just say maybe not the most purposeful use of time. I think that I can't fall behind more than 1 or 2 weeks at a time in postgrad, because there's so much content that is given week by week in medicine between I'd say the 4 main medical sciences plus everything else. So the 4 main medical sciences I would call are pathology, pharmacology, histology, and
Anatomy.
anatomy. Thanks. So I would call those the 4 main things for medical sciences, alongside other things like embryology or biochemistry, etc. There's just a whole plethora of different subjects that we need to take care of. So we can't fall behind in any of them. Like each subject would be considered the same as one course, I think, in my opinion. Because
I feel like them added together add up to more courses than I did in a SEM during undergrad.
That's fair.
Kind of scuffed.
Yeah, but I do feel like there's less emphasis on some courses than, like some subjects than others. Like,
Mm.
like to be fair, when are we going to use histology in the future? Unless you're going to be a pathologist.
Right.
Like
Don't actually know.
the most that you would have to do is if you're a GP and need to like interpret blood film results. But the pathologist
Right.
will probably have already put notes in the description.
Mm.
So pathology is really only useful if you want to gain an understanding of like the physiology of like certain organs, right? So I think apart from like understanding physiology, it's not really high yield in the future. You know?
Right.
It's still good to understand.
I feel like if they're just trying to set you up to decide whatever specialty you want, so
Yeah.
that regardless of what specialty you choose, you have a little bit of knowledge
Mhm.
about it based on what you learn in medical school. But even then, I've like sort of heard comments from like various people that like the only real teaching really comes in the clinical environment and maybe during internship and stuff when you're
Yeah.
actually in the hospital all the time, and then you like directly learn from the environment based on what you want to pursue and whatever. Like I know like a lot of people mention that same thing like in high school, like, oh, there's so much stuff we get taught in high school, when are we going to be using the quadratic equation when I'm in my career or whatever, right? And then like I guess high school's aim is to mostly give you that, like teach you that discipline of like having to spend a good amount of time investing yourself in like a particular subject, and then knowing a little bit of everything based on whether you want to go directly into the workforce or whether you want to go into uni. So I guess medical school is sort of similar in that sense, but yeah, I can definitely see what you mean by like histology and pathology, and like a lot of it not necessarily being used depending on what course you want to choose. For me at least, I'm sort of like similar in terms of Raymond, where in undergrad I could sort of afford, so like first of all, that during undergrad we'd have 4 subjects each semester, and I would try to make
4
one of them be
courses.
like a 4 courses. We call it subjects. It is what it is, like subject code, whatever. But I mean, isn't the Bachelor of Biomedicine course? We can talk about this after, because the point is like one of them would be like I would consider a wham booster, which is like a fluff subject that's easy to like score highly in, and so I sort of ignore that and I just do it whenever I could, and it would be pretty easy. The others would be like hard subjects because they're core subjects for your course, and I could afford to be like I'll be honest, I have been 10 weeks behind on like all 3 of them at the same time, and I was able to recover, luckily. MD is not like that. There's just so much content in each topic that if you're 2 weeks behind, there's like this cloud of despair on you, because you know there's so much you have to get back on, and that mental health part doesn't help, because that just makes it makes you even less equipped to be able to deal with it. So it's better to just not have that issue come up at all. And 1 week behind, it's all right. 2 weeks behind, you're treading a fine line. 3 weeks, I've never been to, and I don't ever want to ever get to that point either.
I
No
do
man's land.
And I know Brendan was just talking about like I have a lot of my tasks dealt with. I live in college. Cleaning's mostly done by like cleaners. We get food prepared. Brendan here has to do the cleaning, do the cooking, and then go to uni, then study. I don't know how this man does it.
It's not that
You're
bad.
cleaning twice, I'm pretty sure, bro.
I mean, there's a lot. It's cleaning. Like, yeah, just today I was like, you know those things that you put on the toilet, like you know, like the duck thing that puts like a little gel, like
Oh, I
just
don't.
detergent thing on your toilet. Yeah, I was just doing that today, and I was like, oh man, this is what people have to do, you know, when they keep. It's like it's not easy keeping the bathroom clean. What? It sucks. And my shower leaks onto the floor from my door. Oh, I have to mop it up afterward. Anyway, but nah. But it's not as bad as you guys think. It's actually it's doable.
I am thinking of moving out next year, so please talk about the good things more rather than.
No. It's very enjoyable and feels like you're more in control of like what you do each day instead of like being defined by like a strict schedule because you have to be at meal times, right? And also makes you feel like have a better idea of like how much time you have in a day and what you can like afford to not do. You know, it's like you have a better mental map of like, what's going on in your life, which I think is pretty important since there's so many things like being like jumped out at us, like Manas was saying and you're saying, Raymond. Like, oh, we have like all these subjects to do. We also have projects, and we also have to think about the practice that we have to do for like H&E, for example. Like,
Right.
we have to study for OSCEs as well, not just the theory.
Yeah, it's doing the like applying, taking history and doing physical examinations on people.
Yeah, because I think like part of like time management is deciding what you want to prioritize.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, what do I find important? What can I kind of like use less time on, right? That's
Well,
what I was
it's not
talking
just
about.
time management, but I think it's also like energy management, for example.
Yeah.
One
Both
last
time and
question.
energy. Work-life balance, like our first one.
I've got
Like-
one last question for you guys, like to wrap things up. Would you say that there's any difference you feel starting postgrad compared to starting undergrad? Like, I know that COVID hit during the last year of high school, for me at least, and I think for you guys. So there was the start of uni online, the start of going in person, and then also starting postgrad in person. Would you say that there's been a difference in your attitudes, at least at those points in time?
I'd definitely say yeah. I think first year for me was actually pretty easy, since them trying to accommodate for the pandemic, they made everything online, and they even make the exams online, at home, open book. So I didn't really properly learn how to learn during undergrad. They only became closed book in person in the final semester. Otherwise, I like a lot of the time I prioritize making notes, organizing my notes optimally so that I can control F whatever I needed to control F in the exam. Now in MD, literally and as well as the final semester of my undergrad, I was faced with actually having to memorize things. So I had to memorize it, go into this pressure depressing room with like 100 other people in cubicles, looking at my computer, answering questions, potentially sleep deprived. It's not fun, but it's something that I've been having to adapt to. I heard UQ dealt with it slightly differently. Maybe you guys had like closed book exams throughout, but you guys can let me know.
Yeah, as in, I did my first year online completely since I was still in Sydney while I was at UQ, right? And it was pretty similar, as in, most of my stuff was open book, and some of it was proctored though. So they had like online invigilators.
Oh.
But
Yeah, probably.
But similarly, I also organized my notes so it was easy to control F stuff. But like, I think what helped me like avoid like getting out of having to learn is that I'm like kind of bad at making notes. So then I'm like, oh shoot, I'm not gonna be able to organize my notes that well. So then I would only like I'm really bad at making notes, so I have to remember the stuff. I only have a few lines, and then I have to like, oh wait, I think I know what I was going on here. Like even if I search something up, I'm like, I have to know what my notes actually mean, you know?
Right.
I think, yeah, part of that is like just trying to understand. Because then if you try and understand something rather than like brute memorizing, because I cannot brute memorize stuff, then it becomes a lot easier to remember stuff. And just having like some sort of intuition. I think the biggest difference between like undergraduate and like I guess from high school to undergraduate to postgraduate is high school, since like I don't know, at least in my school, everyone kind of learned stuff in advance. Like did you guys do that? Like so basically, yeah.
I thought
So,
the
like,
content
maybe, like-
was simple enough to learn in school and through the homework. So I
Yeah,
didn't
like a
really
lot
make
of stuff I
notes.
learned.
Yeah.
And I did IB, so like we didn't really have exams until the very end. So we had 2
Oh.
years to learn the content, and then we'd do the exams at the end.
Because then, yeah, in high school it's like easy to learn the content, and the problem is like doing practice like questions, right? Just like
Yeah.
application of those like simple concepts that you already kind of know and that have already built up over time. But then in uni, it's more like they throw a bunch of like new, maybe not difficult, but like new and unique concepts that you haven't really seen before. You have to kind of
Yeah.
make sense of. And they give you like some
Right.
questions, which are actually pretty simple if you understand the concept. But it's just like you have so many different concepts thrown at you that it's hard to juggle them.
Right.
And since the concepts that you need to know change every semester because you have new courses, it's hard to keep on top of them. So in high school, it was more like trying to like refine your approaches to questions. In uni, it's more like quickly understanding and grasping a concept that you can apply to like simple questions and like
Right.
memorize. And now in postgrad, it's kind of going back to that high school mentality because we're learning the cats are building on top of each other, that content.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So-
part of being a lifelong learner, right?
Yeah.
In the medical field.
And now we're having to apply that knowledge to questions. So it's like a combination of undergrad and high school kind of. It's like we're getting thrown a bunch of new concepts, but
Mm.
they're kind of building up to be like a knowledge base that will apply over and over again to like clinical questions in the future.
Right.
Which I feel like in TBO, the case-based questions are kind of hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at least that's my opinion. What about you, Ren?
I think to keep it short and sweet, since we're a bit short on time here,
Mm.
I think that going into postgrad, like that's when I really felt the proper introduction to the course, right? Because I was in Melbourne when the COVID pandemic hit, and that meant I started online. So at the start, it just felt like I was being shoveled work because I didn't get to experience the true uni experience in person. And then coming here to Brisbane to start the second half of my undergrad, when I was able to fly in, it felt weird because people already had established friend groups and it was halfway through. But then going into postgrad's like a fresh start, and I feel more confident than before because I've actually started to learn how to learn again. I've started learning how to take notes properly, have my own schedule, learning as an adult, right? Outside of school, you get to choose what time you study and what time you get to enjoy life. Not saying that studying is not enjoying life, but enjoying life in a different way with your friends, for example, chilling and relaxing. I think we'll end that here today, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
thanks for listening, guys.
See you next
Thank
week.
you.